So, ayan na, once again po, welcome back po sa aking YouTube channel, Timbangan ng Pilipinas. At ang topic po natin ngayon ay tungkol po sa 48 Laws of Power. Nasa Law 11 na po tayo. So, basahin po natin. Law 11 ng 48 Laws of Power. Ito po yung learn to keep people dependent on you. So, ayan po, basahin natin. The more you are needed by people, the more freedom and independence you have. In the Middle Ages, a mercenary soldier, condottiere, saved the Italian town Siena from a foreign enemy. So, niligtas po niya. The citizens of Siena wanted to honor the soldier but could not think of an appropriate way. Gusto nilang pasalamatan pero hindi nila alam kung paano ba yung maayos na na paraan. They thought of making him the ruler of the city, maging ruler ng city, but even that wouldn't be enough. Pero parang hindi pa talaga yun do sa ginawa niyang pag-save sa kanila. Finally, one of the citizens appeared before the assembly and said, "Let us kill him and then worship him as our patron saint." Bah, grabe yung yung request ng isang bigla siyang sabi niya, patayin na lang daw. Tapos gawin daw nila patron saint. And so they did. Pinatay nila. Ay, grabe. Grabe po, ang tindi ng nangyari dito. So, learn to keep people dependent on you. Doon sa sobrang nila, hindi nila malaman kung paano pasasalamatan. Ang ginawa nila, pinatay nila yung sundalo at ginawa nilang patron saint. Matindi. So, ito pa po. The two horses. Two horses were carrying two loads. The front horse went well, but the rear horse was lazy, tamad. The men began to pile the rear horse load on the front horse. When they had transferred it all, the rear horse found it easygoing, gumana, and he said, the front horse, "Toil and straight. The more you try, the more you have to suffer." When they reached the tavern, the owner said, "Why should I father two horses when I carry all on one? I had better give the one all the food it wants, and cut the throat of the other, and at least I shall have the hide." And so he did. So, yun. Many have suffered, ito na naman po, many have suffered similar fate to the patron saint. This wasn't because of ingratitude, but because they were replaceable. If you don't make others dependent on you, then you will become dispensable. Otto von Bismarck was 32. He became a deputy in the Prussian parliament in 1847. He had no allies and surveyed the field for potential relationship. Yan. He settled on an odd choice, King Frederick William IV. The king was an indecisive, spineless man who was the opposite of Bismarck. So, the liberals manipulated him at will. But Bismarck stood by him, siding with the king when he was attacked by other deputies. So, nanatili siya dun sa ng hari. It paid off. In 1851, Bismarck was promoted to minister in the king's cabinet. So, tumaas ang kanyang posisyon. In this position, he forced the king's hand, pressuring him to build up the military and to stand up the liberals. Bismarck worked on Frederick's insecurity about his manliness, telling him that he should rule more confidently and without compromise. So the monarchy under Bismarck's influence was the most powerful force in Prussia. Once again, Frederick died in 1861 and his brother William took his place. His brother hated Bismarck and wanted to get rid of him. So, but he was in perilous situation with many enemies around him. He even considered abdicating power, fearing the situation he was in. So, ano po nangyari? Bismarck took advantage of this. He stood by the king and gave him strength. William, like his brother, grew dependent on Bismarck's advice to stave off enemies, despite his hatred of him. So, kahit galit na siya, pagdating naman dun sa mga advice ni Bismarck para matalo yung mga kalaban, so yung kailangan talaga niya si Bismarck. William made Bismarck the prime minister. Ginawa niya yung prime minister pa rin. While the head of the throne was of the two brothers, the man behind the curtain was always Bismarck. So when he started his career, Bismarck might have chosen a more powerful ally. But he knew that the powerful would swallow you up if you join them. The powerful don't need you. They won't depend on you. And thus, you can have leverage over them. Frederick was a perfect target because he was king and he had a weak character. He needed someone powerful by his side. And Bismarck fit the role perfectly. So ito po yan, make people depend on you. More is to be gained from such dependence than courtesy. He who has licked his tears immediately turns his back on the well, no longer needing it. When dependence disappears, so the civility and decency, and then respect. So, the first lesson with experience should teach you is to keep hope alive. Yan. But never satisfied. Yan. Keeping even a royal patron ever in need of you. So, yan guys. The reversal for this rule is that by making others dependent on you, you become dependent on them. The alternative is standing alone and depending on no one. Like JP, Morgan, and John D. Rockefeller, who were monopolists, had full control and played the game alone. But this strategy is difficult to sustain and you will make enemies. So, ayan guys. Hopefully po guys, naintindihan po natin itong Law 11. Learn to keep people dependent on you. So, hindi pa po mga nakasubscribe, just click my notification bell for more videos. Itutuloy po natin to. Dire-diretso lang po yung pagbasa ko hanggang siguro hanggang tayo ngayon. Gawa tayo ng 10 hanggang kasi Law 11. Pabilisin natin. Gawa tayo hanggang Law 20. Sige. Bye-bye guys!